Greetings of the day and welcome to the session, all of you. So we have finished business level strategies. Now we are entering into functional level strategies. Before entering into functional level strategies, let us try to understand where we are in the process of strategic management. See, the strategic management process starts with setting up a vision. So initially we need to have a vision, then we need to have a mission, and we need to set the objectives, and we need to craft the strategy. Then we need to implement the strategy, and we need to make necessary corrections and adjustments in the vision, mission and objectives which are deemed appropriate over a period of time. So in that strategic management process, we are at the step of crafting a strategy. That means we need to consciously and carefully craft the strategy, and we need to have three levels of strategies. We need to have corporate level strategies, business level strategies and functional level strategies. Now already we finished studying corporate level strategies and business level strategies. Now we are entering into functional level strategies. That means we are in the step of crafting a strategy. Okay, and this is the final phase of crafting a strategy, that is crafting functional level strategies. Okay, right. Now let us try to understand what the importance of functional level strategies. See, these are very important strategies which are at the low level of the hierarchy, and you need to formulate right kind of functional level strategies in order to make your business level strategies and corporate level strategies successful. Until and unless you make functional level strategies, you cannot have proper implementation of business level and corporate level strategies. See, let me tell you, for example, at the corporate level, you want to follow stability strategy. So now you have to think, what should I do to make my company stable? And for that corporate level strategy, let us assume at business level, you have chosen cost leadership strategy. Okay? See, this is the way you need to understand how strategies work. So, at the corporate level, you thought of having a stability strategy, and at the business level, in order to achieve the stability strategy, at the business level, you thought of cost leadership strategy. Now, what do you mean by business? Business means several functions. In business, we will have marketing, finance, logistics, supply chain, production, operations, research and development. Many functions will be included in business. So, at corporate level, if you want to implement stability strategy, and at business level, you want to implement cost leadership strategy for achieving stability, then you should make your functional level strategies in such a way that these functional level strategies should help to achieve the business level strategy. For example, if your business level strategy is cost leadership, then all your marketing, finance, logistics, supply chain, these all should be made in such a way that you always should focus on reducing the costs, because your business level strategy is cost leadership. Why you have chosen cost leadership? Because your corporate level strategy is stability. So accordingly, you have to formulate the functional level strategies. This is the most important thing you need to understand. That means there should be a harmony or alignment. There should be a harmony or alignment between the business level strategies and functional level strategies, and between corporate level strategy and business level strategy. Then only you can have a comprehensive. What is the definition of strategy? It is a comprehensive, integrated, unified plan. So it should be integrated. All the corporate level, business level and functional level strategies should be integrated. That is the most important point you need to understand regarding the corporate level strategies. Okay, so that becomes very, very important. Now, with that basic introduction, let us move to the first question. What are functional strategies in terms of level? Where will you put them? Once corporate level and business level strategies are developed, management has to formulate and implement strategies for each functional area. This is the most important point. Then only the strategy management, then only crafting a strategy will be complete. That means you need to craft strategy at the corporate level, at the business level, and at the functional level. And you know, it is the functional level strategy that is actually implemented. That means corporate level strategy and business level strategy are simple statements, but we need to implement them. How will you implement? You will implement in your functions. See, what is business? What do you mean by doing the business? Doing the business means the act of procurement, the act of financial management, the act of logistics, the act of supply chain management. So these all activities you have to perform. Then only the business will function. Without these functions, the business cannot function. Like you take the example of human body. There should be bodily functions. Then only the body will be alive. If the functions ceased or if the functions stopped, then there is no question in calling it as a human body. There will be no life. So, whenever there is life, and with that life, some bodily functions are performed. Likewise, we need to have functional level strategies. We need to have marketing, finance, production, operations, research and development, logistics, technology, supply chain management. These all functions have to be performed in a perfect manner. That is the most important point. For effective implementation, strategies have to provide a direction to functional managers regarding the plans and policies to be adopted. This is very important point. That means the business level managers and the corporate level managers, they have to instruct very clearly to the functional level managers regarding the plans and policies that they should adopt in their respective functions. That means the marketing manager, the finance manager, the HR manager, the production manager, the logistics manager, these all managers should be informed by the business level managers and corporate level managers regarding the policies or strategies that these functional level managers should adopt in their respective functions. For example, if the business level strategy is cost leadership, and if the marketing manager is planning for very big marketing activity, which involves a lot of cost and investment. So, is that correct? It is not absolutely correct, because what is the business level strategy? The business level strategy is cost leadership. That means what the marketing manager has to think, he should always think to cut down the cost. He cannot go for an exuberant, he cannot go for a very grand marketing campaigns. Because at the business level, we thought of having a cost leadership strategy. So that is the most important point you need to understand. The effectiveness of strategic management depends on the manner in which strategies are implemented. Yes, it is not the strategy formulation, but it is the strategy implementation that gives success to your organization. And meaning of functional strategies. Functional strategies refer to strategies which are formulated in individual functional departments such as marketing, finance, production, R&D, human resource management, etc. Okay. Next, level in the organization structure. Functional strategies operate below the SBU or business level strategies. So already you know the concept of SBU. Certain divisions are placed into one SBU, and you know about business level strategies. So when will functional level strategies come into picture? Functional level strategies comes into picture after formulation of corporate level and business level strategies. That means these all three strategies should be integrated. They should be unified. Then only you can have a perfect organizational strategy for achieving success and for achieving competitive advantage for your organization. Within functional strategies, there might be several sub-functional areas. Like, see for example, HR strategy is there. So HR strategy consists of, HR department consists of training, okay, development, recruitment. So likewise, each department consists of several sub-departments. If you take marketing, in marketing there will be advertising, market survey, market analysis, likewise there will be sub-functions. That means in every function there will be sub-functions like operations, like production. In production management we will have research and development, operations, production scheduling, these all will be there. That means each function is further divided into several sub-functions. And functional strategies are formulated within the higher level strategies and guidelines that are set at higher levels of an organization. This is the point I am stressing from the beginning. That means the functional level managers cannot make strategies on their own. They have to listen to the guidelines given by the business level and corporate level managers. That means already at the business level and at the corporate level, the strategies are formulated and those are to be communicated to the functional level managers, and the functional level managers should understand them clearly. Then they have to make strategies for their respective function to whatever department they belong. Okay, so that is the most important thing. Functional managers need guidance from the business strategy in order to make decisions. Yes, this is again very important point. That is what I am telling you. Functional level managers should not behave on their own. They should listen to what the business strategy is saying, and accordingly they have to formulate the functional level strategy. And role of functional strategies. Functional strategies play two important roles. Firstly, they provide support to the overall business strategy. Overall business strategy means the corporate level strategy. And second, they specify how functional managers have to work to ensure better performance in their respective functional areas. See, all the functions of business have to be performed properly. All the functions of business have to be performed properly. That means you need to have a functional strategy for every function, for every department of your business. Now, are functional strategies really important for business? From the above discussion, already what the discussion we had till now, we can easily understand the importance of functional level strategies. Functional strategies clearly specify what is to be done at the functional level. They provide a sense of direction to the functional staff. See, once you have a marketing strategy, then the marketing department people will have a clarity regarding what to do in marketing. Okay, and they facilitate the implementation of corporate level and business level strategies. That is what I told. See, these corporate level strategies and business level strategies will be conceptual. But how can you put them into practice? In order to turn your corporate level and business level strategies into action, you require functional level strategies. That is, through your functional level strategies only, you can implement business level and corporate level strategies. Straight away, you cannot implement corporate level and business level strategies. See, for example, if your business level strategy is cost leadership, what do you mean by cost leadership? Okay, you simply thought we need to follow cost leadership strategy. Then how can you achieve it? That means you should cut down your costs in all the functions you perform. You need to cut down your costs in marketing, in HR, in logistics, in supply chain, in production, in operations. You have to cut down the cost. Then only you can achieve cost leadership. That means all your functional level strategies should target towards the business level strategy. What it is saying? The business level strategy is saying about cost leadership. So these functional level strategies, while making strategies, they should keep in mind that they should cut down the costs. That is very important thing. They act as a basis for controlling activities in different functional areas. See, we need to perform all the functions perfectly. So we need to have a functional level strategy for every function. Then the people will get clarity regarding the approach, regarding the direction in which they have to move forward. and they help in bringing harmony and coordination as they remain part of the major strategies. This is very, very important. That is what I told you. The most important word here is harmony and coordination. See, if the business level strategy is cost leadership strategy and two departments are following cost leadership strategy, they are always taking care to reduce the cost, and two other departments, they are spending lavishly, they are wasting a lot of things, then how can the cost leadership strategy is achieved? So there should be an harmony, there should be coordination among all the departments, and all of them should work towards the common goal. That is very, very important. With the help of functional strategies, functional managers can handle similar situations occurring in different functional areas in a consistent manner. Very beautiful point. Very beautiful point. This is the real essence of having a strategy. See, the corporate level strategy is stability and the business level strategy is cost leadership. Then, what kind of decision should the HR manager take? What kind of decisions should the marketing manager take? That means they have to keep in mind the corporate and business level strategy and they have to follow. See, once all the functional level managers, if they follow the same business level and corporate level strategies, then what happens? Whatever they do becomes same or similar because all of them have the same thing in mind. See, for example, if there are 10 students in a classroom and if all the 10 students are having the same objective in mind that they should learn something from the class and they should listen to the lecture, then automatically all students behave in the same way. They listen to the lesson carefully because they have the same objective in their mind. Likewise, all the functional managers should have the same objective of corporate level and business level strategies. Then whatever they do, that will be consistent, that will be uniform because all of them are working with the same motive. What they do differs. Depending on the department, it differs. That is not important. What they do is not important, but what they think, how they do it, that is most important, and that will be determined by the corporate level and business level strategies. Thus, strategies need to be segregated into viable functional plans and policies that are compatible with each other. This compatibility is very, very important. You can call it in any way: harmony, coordination, consistency, compatibility, alignment. So whatever it is, but all the functions of your business should be done in a uniform manner by keeping the business level and corporate level strategies in mind. Okay. Now, let us start the functional level strategies one after one. First, let us start with the marketing management strategies. You know, marketing is very, very important activity. Many people think that marketing means just advertising. No, advertising is a simple part of marketing. For example, if you assume that this is a marketing activity and in that advertising is a small part. So, in addition to advertising, there are many other things in marketing. Market survey, target marketing, market targeting. Target marketing and market targeting are again two different things. So, you have to do that. You have to make a marketing budget, marketing plan, survey of the tastes and preferences of the people, demand forecasting. These all activities are there in marketing. So, marketing is a very big activity. And you know, this marketing is the most important activity because it is the marketing department who gives you the pulse of the people, the pulse of the customer. Because it is marketing department people who go directly into the market, interact with the intermediaries, interact with the customers and will get the feedback regarding the aspirations of the customers, aspirations of the intermediaries, and these marketing people will inform to the management about what people are thinking in the market. What are their expectations, what they want. So this marketing department, they should share this knowledge, they should share this feedback from the market with the production department and with other respective departments to make a wonderful product, that suits the customer needs. And there the marketing story is not over. And once the product is manufactured, again it is the duty of the marketing people to take the product into the market, to advertise the product into the market, and to sell the product into the market. That means marketing activity is there all the time, before production and after production also. Before production, they give you feedback regarding how the product should look like. And after production, they take the product into the market and try to sell the product in the market. So marketing is a very big activity, very important activity. Okay. So marketing is a social and managerial process. Why it is social? Because it is connected with the people. You need to know the tastes and preferences of the customers. That is very, very important. And by which individuals and groups obtain what they need, want through creating, offering and exchanging products of value with others. See, it is the marketing department or it is the marketing people who can provide the goods that the customer wants, because they learn from the customers what the customers want. Okay. And what is marketing mix? Marketing mix forms an important part of overall competitive marketing strategy. Now here we are learning about an important concept called marketing mix. See, if you want a successful product into the market, you have to pay attention to certain important factors. What are they? You have to pay attention to the product. You have to pay attention to the product, to the price, to the place, and to the promotion. Product, price, place, promotion. These are the four important factors that determines the success of your product in the market. What do you mean by product? The product design, the look, the packaging, the size, the color, these all things, the quality, these all things come under product. So you should make your product that is appealing to the customers. And if you make your product very qualitatively, if you package it well, that is not enough. The second important thing is price. You have to have a proper price for your product. You have to set the right price for your product. That is again very important. And the next one is place. You should make available your product to the customer in a very easy way. That means the customer should be able to find your product very easily in the market. That means you have to distribute your product properly into the market. That is very, very important. And the last one, promotion, is advertising. You should take your product to the customer in a proper way through proper channels of communication and use of mass media. Okay. That means these four things are very, very important. And you know, these four things are controllable variables. That means they are in your hands. They are controllable variables. That means price can be in your control. You can reduce the price if you want. You can reduce the costs and set lower prices. So that is controllable. The design, look, color, packaging, quality, again that is in your hands. And the distribution, you can distribute it to reach the customer, that is in your hands, and the promotion is in your hands. So these are all controllable variables. And a proper mix of them, a proper blend or mix of them will give you success in the market. A proper blend of product, price, place, promotion. That means you should make right kind of product. You should fix the right price, and you should make it available to the people, and you should promote the product in a proper way. Then if you have a proper blend of all these things, then that is called as perfect marketing mix. So every marketing manager or every business level manager should look at the right kind of marketing mix to reach the target market. Sometimes what happens, this is a very big, very good strategy, because sometimes what happens, your product will be very good, having good quality, good packaging, everything very good about the product, and the price is also very good. It is having a reasonable price, but the product is not properly distributed. The product has become inaccessible to the customer. The product has become inaccessible to the customer. The product is not available to the customer. Then what is the use? Even though your product is having very good quality, right price, what is the use? Because customer could not get it. So that you have to understand. Place is very important. And your product is good, price is good, place availability is also there. But you are not properly promoting the product into the market. People don't know how to use your product. People don't know anything about your product. You are not communicating properly about your product to the customer. Then also your product fails in the market. See, what is conventional thinking? What is traditional thinking? If we maintain quality in our product, people will come and buy our product. That is a traditional thinking. That is the old way of thinking. But what is the modern way of thinking? Not only the quality of the product, but these all things, price, place, promotion, these all things also plays very important role in the sales of your goods and services. That is the most important thing you need to understand. So marketing mix forms an important part of overall competitive marketing strategy. And that means you will have a very big marketing strategy, and that marketing strategy consists of market survey, market targeting, but among all those things, having a right marketing mix for your product, that is the most important one. It is a set of controllable marketing variables. I have explained you what it is meant by controllable marketing variables, because all of them are controllable to some extent. They are in your hands, and that the firm blends to influence the demand for its products and to produce the desired response it wants in the target market. See, every company wants some desired response, no? Means you expect some sales figures. You expect your product to sell very good in the market. So that is your expectation. Okay, that is your desired response. So now if you want to get that desired response from the market, what you have to do? You have to blend all these things properly. The product, price, place, promotion, these all factors have to be blended properly and should be targeted towards the customer. Then the customer will buy your product. Then you will get the desired response for your product. That means you have to create demand for your products. The demand creation for your product depends on price, place, promotion and product. It consists of everything that the firm can do to influence the demand for its product. That means, how can you create demand for your product? See, finally it is the economics term demand, no? There should be demand for your product in the market. So how can you create demand for your product in the market? You can create it by the proper mix of these four factors. An effective marketing program blends all the elements of marketing mix into a coordinated program designed to achieve the company's marketing objectives by delivering value to the customers. So this is again very important. You have to deliver value to the customers. That means you should have a formula, you should have a marketing mix formula such that marketing mix formula creates value to the customer. Then only customer will purchase your product. That is what you need to understand. And these variables are often referred to as 4 P's. When translated to the perspective of buyers, they may be termed as 4 C's. Generally in marketing parlance, we call it as 4 P's. Product, price, place and promotion. But that is from the producer's perspective. That is from the company's perspective. But it is always better to think from the customer's perspective. So these 4 P's, when thought from the customer's perspectives, can be translated as product, can be translated as customer solution. Yes, it is right. Because each and every product you make Each and every product you make is a solution to the customer. Because why the customer buy a product? He has some need or he has some want. Now, is your product satisfying the need of the customer? The want of the customer? Definitely. Definitely. So, then your product becomes the solution to the customer's need or want or desire. And price. You should always think that whatever price you fix for your product is a cost the customer is paying for the product. That means you should always keep in mind that the customer cost should be low. See, you are thinking of lowering your costs. In the same way, the customer also thinks about lowering his costs. So, what is the cost of the what is the cost to the customer? It is the price that he pays for the product. So, you should always think of reducing the prices for the products. And the third one is place, means convenience from the customer's perspective. See, customer should get your product at a convenient place, near his home, near his house, near his working place. That means you should make your product available to the customer in his area, in the local grocery store, in the local departmental store, or in the area that is very convenient to him to access your product, to buy your product. That is very important. And the promotion. See, today, if you can observe many products, they are doing promotion which is totally ridiculous. Which is ridiculous. But you should properly communicate about your product to the customer so that it should easily get registered in his mind. Advertising is a kind of registering something in the mind of the customer. Your product should get registered in the mind of the customer. That is advertising. So, you should communicate about your product in a good manner to the customer. That is very, very important. So, these all things I have already told you. Product stands for goods and services offered to the target market. And price means the amount of money that the customers have to pay to obtain your product. Place is, I have already told you, you should make your product available to the customer very easily. And promotion is what you do to take your product to the customer and to register your product in the mind of the customer. You can do it in many ways, using mass media, using personal selling, using advertising, publicity, these all you can do. Right. Discuss the concept of expanded or extended marketing mix. See, initially, we thought of 4 P's are essential. But with the changing times, with the addition of new technologies, with the changing lifestyle patterns of the people, and today, people are giving more importance to the service that we offer to them rather than the product. So, with the changing times, what happened? In addition to 4 P's, now we need to have 3 P's, which can be called as extended marketing mix. Already 4 P's you have to take care. But today the service environment, that means even though your product is having right quality, right price, right place and right promotion, but the service environment, how you deliver your service to the customer, that also has become very important. So for that, you need to take care of the people, the physical environment and the process. That means 3 P's are added recently. What are they? The people who are delivering the product, they should behave in a polite manner. See, if you observe the mission statement of State Bank of India, they says, we want to be polite with the customer. Yes, your marketing people or your company people should behave in a polite manner, in a respectable manner, in a respectful manner with the customers. That is very important. That determines the sales of your product. So, people and physical evidence means you should maintain the surroundings of your delivery environment. That means your showrooms, okay, your places, you should maintain in a good manner. So, that is also very important, physical evidence. And you should make the purchase process for your customer in a very easy manner, in a simple manner. Customer should feel happy purchasing your product. That means you should not have cumbersome process for the customer to purchase your product. Okay. So that is very, very important. So these all things come under expanded or extended marketing mix. Typically all organizations use combination of 4 P's. However, these elements of marketing mix are not exhaustive. That means those 4 P's are not just enough. You need to have 3 more P's. It is essential to discuss few more elements of the marketing mix. Growth of services has its own share for the inclusion of newer elements. What are they? First one, people. People means your marketing people, your salesmen, okay, your marketing executives, your service engineers. They should behave properly and politely with the customers. And second one, physical evidence, means where the customer and your people interact. That may be your showroom, that may be your factory, that may be your delivery point, anywhere. So that physical evidence means you should have nice surroundings, perfect ambience. This has to be maintained. So that comes under physical evidence. And the third one is process. You know, process means what? You try to simplify the process of purchasing your product. You just try to find out new ways of reaching the customer and making the customer happy and feel valued. So all the time you need to eliminate unnecessary things in the process of purchasing, and you should make life easy for the customer. See, right now ICICI Bank launched WhatsApp banking. Means always they want to simplify the process of banking. From the beginning, ICICI thinks all the time about simplification, elimination of all non-value adding things. Okay, so that is about process. And now let us go to different promotional methods. Different promotional methods. How you can promote your product in the market. What are the different ways? Okay, because you have to persuade the target customer to purchase your product. Advertising or promotion is a kind of persuasion. Persuasion means you will try to motivate the customer to purchase your product. So what are the different ways? First one is personal selling. And here one important point is said, modern marketing is highly promotional oriented. See, gone are the olden days where the producer is to think that if you maintain quality in our product, but just by word of mouth publicity, customers will come to us. That is all old style of thinking. But the modern style of thinking is you have to promote your product in such a way so that the customers will know about your product, will try your product and will buy your product or service. Okay. Now, what are the different methods? The first one is personal selling. It was one of the oldest forms of promotion. It involves face-to-face interaction of sales force with the prospective customers and provide high degree of personal attention. See, in personal selling, what happens? Our marketing people or our sales people will go to the place of the customer, will talk to them, will have a personal interaction, will have a one-to-one oral personal interaction, and will try to convince the customer, will try to persuade the customer to purchase our product. That is called as personal selling. Generally for real estate firms, generally for very expensive cars and all these things, we generally use this personal selling. Of course, we can use personal selling even for small things and small products also. But this personal selling is a very costly affair. It is a very expensive affair because you need to appoint more number of salespeople and the reach is less because each salesman can reach out to only small amount of people. So it takes a lot of time to reach the entire country or to reach the nook and corner of the country. So that is why if you are selling very expensive products and if your market size is somewhat less, if your target market size is less, then the best option is personal selling. In personal selling, you have to recruit the marketing executives and salespeople and you have to give them salaries. Okay, so that becomes a burden to the organization. Of course, we are ready to face the burden, but what about the outreach? How many people can we reach? So that is very less. Okay. So that is the disadvantage in personal selling. But what is the advantage? The advantage is having good relationships, maintaining cordial relationships with the customers. Because you'll directly go to the customer, have a personal interaction, talk to him, so that we can know the customer personally and customer will know about us personally. So, strong relationship can be formed with personal selling. But that is not possible for all kinds of products, especially FMCG, fast moving consumer goods. Okay. Now, initially, it may focus on developing a relationship with the potential buyer, but end up with efforts of making a sale. So, initially, we'll just inform the customer about our product and we'll try to persuade him, we'll try to convince him to purchase our product. It suffers from very high costs of sales personnel, as sales personnel are expensive. They can physically attend only one customer at a time. That is why this TV advertising, newspaper advertising, this is called as mass media, because we try to reach more number of people at a time. But whereas in personal selling, you cannot do that. One marketing executive can attend only one marketing call at a time. He can interact with only one customer or two of them or three of them, but not many of them at a time. Okay. So it suffers from very high costs, as sales personnel are very expensive and they can physically attend only one customer at a time. And it is not a cost effective way of reaching a large number of people. Now coming to the second kind of promotion, that is advertising. See, in advertising what we do? Mainly advertising will be non-personal. Non-personal means we use newspapers, social media, or we use TV, radio, or any such kind of things to reach the customer, to reach large number of customers at a time. Here there will be no personal interaction. So advertisement is non-personal and highly flexible. Means you can do it in whatever manner you want. You can make an ad, okay, and you can use TV, radio, newspaper, pamphlet, brochure, anything you can use, okay, to reach the customer. And dynamic. There are several media of advertisement. That's what I told you. You can have you can distribute the pamphlets, brochures, you can advertise in newspaper, magazines, you can display in hoardings, display boards, radio, TV and internet. So these all means comes under advertising. And choice of appropriate media is important. See, first you have to know your target market and you have to, for example, if your target market is youth, so it is waste to publish your advertisement in the newspaper, because generally people at the youthful stage, they generally do not have the habit of reading newspaper. So how to reach them? You should advertise in social media. So basing on your target market, you have to choose the proper way, your tagline, the design of your logo, okay. These all things, the selection of your brand ambassador, these all things impact. And advertising is likely to succeed in promoting sales of an organization, but its effectiveness in respect to the expenditure cannot be directly measured. See, companies spend some crores of rupees on mass media advertising, but how much of returns you get from that ad spend, that also you need to measure. Okay, so you have to be very careful in your ad spend in mass media. And next one, publicity. Publicity is non-personal form of promotion similar to advertising. But in advertising, we make payments to display our ad in the TV or in the newspaper. But in publicity, generally it will take up as an news format. That means we may achieve something so that we publish that news in the newspaper. So and so organization has achieved this. So that becomes a publicity to the organization. So for news you need not pay anything, but for advertisement you need to pay. And publicity is a communication of a product, brand or business by placing information about it in the media without paying for the time or media space directly. Thus it is a way of reaching customers with negligible cost. For example, your organization has got an award or achieved something, or your organization got some ranks. So you will publicize it. using newspaper and mass media. And of course, they take some money in some cases, but it is a negligible cost compared to very big advertisements. And basic tools for publicity are press release, press conference, reports, stories, internet release, blogs. These all come under publicity. Okay. And now sales promotion. You can improve the sales of your products through sales promotional activities like giving discounts, cashback offers, okay, refund offers, or you can sell your product in installments, in EMIs. You can set up some kiosks. Kiosks means, see, on roads we find some marketing tents. People used to put some marketing tent and they sell the goods. That is a kiosk. Or an ATM is an example of kiosk. That means a specialized area where your services are offered. So that is called as a kiosk. You can run some exhibition. You can set up your stall in an exhibition fairs. So these all come under sales promotions. Sales promotion done periodically may help in getting larger market share to an organization. Okay. Next. Explain various marketing strategies or techniques. See, here we have some 13 kind of different marketing strategies. So these may be asked for 2 marks. Okay. So let me explain you one by one. First one is social marketing. Social marketing means what? For example, no smoking campaign, or no mask, no entry, wear mask, clean your hands. So right now in this COVID-19 time, government is marketing the idea of cleaning your hands, personal hygiene, oral hygiene, wearing the mask. So these all marketing activities and campaigns come under social marketing. And second one is augmented marketing. Augmented marketing means if you make your services available to the customer in more number of ways. For example, film tickets are sold near the film theater. But now if tickets can be purchased from Book My Show or some other sites, then that comes under augmented marketing. And biryani is available at your restaurant. But now if you make available your biryani to be delivered to the doorstep or delivered to the train berth, then that becomes an augmented marketing. Augment means increased. So if you offer some increased services to the customers, so that comes under augmented marketing. And direct marketing means today we have channels like Naptol or TV18 or Shopsy. So these channels, in these channels, products are directly shown to the customer. Customer makes a call. Okay, that comes under direct marketing. And there are different types of direct marketing like catalog selling, email, telecommuting, electronic marketing and TV shopping. Catalog selling is very oldest model of direct marketing where the company somehow gets your address and the company sends its catalog to you, the price list. Then if you select from that catalog, they will supply. So that is an oldest form. Today we have more modern forms of TV channels. And relationship marketing is trying to build long-term relationships with the customers. Okay, trying to convince them to purchase your products. And services marketing. See, today, once upon a time, people thought that marketing or advertising is required only for products. But today, a lot of services like insurance services, banking services, educational services, okay, they are all promoted. They are all advertised very much. So that comes under services marketing. And person marketing. See, today, these all celebrities and film stars, sports stars, or people who wants to enter into politics, they want to build a personal brand. They want to make personal branding. Okay, through conducting some charitable activities. Okay, making some ad films on them. So this all comes under personal marketing or personal branding. Okay, and organization marketing. See, today companies like Tata's, they are very big conglomerates. But many people might not know about Tata. So now Tata's can make an ad which shows all the businesses that Tata is doing. So that now the people gets an idea regarding how big the Tata company is. So for that they make an ad. That can be called as organization marketing. That means rather than marketing one single product or rather than marketing one single business, about one single business, you will cover everything and you will try to project the trade name of your company, the logo of your company. That comes under organization marketing. And place marketing. Here there is a typographical error. It is not differentiation. It is place marketing. Place marketing means tourism. Today places are marketed very much. So there is a tourism concept. So every state in the country will try to promote the tourism. Not only the country, even in India we can find ads about China and other countries asking them to visit, asking people to visit their countries. So today places are marketed, and even our government, especially Indian government, is trying to market the places. That is, it wants to encourage tourism, because tourism is a greater source of revenue. And enlightened marketing. Enlightened marketing means, jago grahak jago. Okay, that means trying to enlighten the customer about the adulteration, about the cheating that the companies may do. Generally, government agencies like IRDA, Consumer Protection Council, these all organizations will do some advertising in order to enlighten, in order to give knowledge to the customer about the products. So that all come under enlightened marketing. And enlightened marketing can be done in 5 ways: customer oriented marketing, innovative marketing, value marketing, sense of marketing, and societal marketing. See, sometimes this social marketing also comes under enlightened marketing, because today the government is doing a lot of marketing to wear, a lot of advertisement campaigns to make people to wear masks and clean their hands regularly. So that is also giving enlightenment to the customer, no? So that all come under enlightened marketing. And next one, differential marketing. Differential marketing means the same company produces different soaps. For example, here one example is given. Hamam, Lifebuoy, Dove, Lux, Liril. These are all made by Unilever company only. But if you observe the ads, how they'll show you. Rexona, moisturizer. Pierce, again moisturizer in winter season. Lux, beauty soap. Lifebuoy, germ killing. Okay. Liril, freshness. Dove, damage repair. That means all products belong to the same company, but they'll try to make advertisements, they'll try to promote their products in different ways. All are soaps only, but each soap has some speciality, so they'll try to advertise it. So that comes under differential marketing, because each soap is targeted to separate target market. And now synchro marketing. Synchro marketing means what? See, there will be some off season. See, air conditioners are sold more in summer and clothes are sold more in festive season. But in winter and rainy season, generally air conditioners are sold at some discounted prices. Likewise, clothes in Adi month. In Telugu region, we say Ashada Masam. There many discounts are given, because generally in that season people don't buy more clothes. So in order to make the customer to buy in that season, what these people will do? They'll give some discounts too, because they want to create market even in that dull season also. That is called synchro. Synchro means uniform. That means in some seasons you will have less sales. Now in that off seasons, if you give more discounts, then people may prefer to buy. So that uniformity in sales is created. So that is synchro marketing. And the next one, concentrated marketing. That means if you concentrate on a particular niche, if you concentrate only on, see, some companies they concentrate only on germ killing soaps. Some companies they only concentrate in one geographical area. So that comes under concentrated marketing. And next one, demarketing. Demarketing means what? A houseful board is kept near the theater. Generally, for theaters, they want more people to come and watch the show. But the seating capacity is over. Now they cannot sell more tickets. So that's why they put houseful board. Okay. And likewise, if you observe some entertainment parks and all, on Tuesdays and Thursdays they put lower prices, and on Sundays they put higher prices. Why they put higher prices? Because to reduce the demand. Because it is an economics principle, no? If you raise the price, the demand will decrease. So basing on that formula, they increase the prices. This you can observe in zoo parks, entertainment parks, these all things. Because they want to reduce the demand temporarily. So that's why they increase the prices. So that come under demarketing. Okay. So with that, we have finished marketing strategies. Okay. And we will study about the financial management strategies in the next session. Thank you.